In this episode of Nightmare Echoes, your hosts discuss 2004's Japanese horror Marebito, but also reference Jordan Peele's Us, the Hellraiser franchise, and the Goosebumps film. Spoilers ahead. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host, Elzar, and I have back with me host Jesse. Jesse, how's it going?
Hello.
All right, Jesse, what are we doing today?
Well, we are going to be talking about Marebito, the Japanese horror film from a long time ago. I don't remember what year.
2004.
Yeah, a long time ago, like I said.
If we start with a spoiler-free review for just a couple minutes to give people a chance to go decide if they want to go watch it.
Yeah.
According to IMDb, a fear-obsessed freelance cameraman investigates an urban legend involving mysterious spirits that haunt the subways of Tokyo. I feel like that's like 5 minutes of it.
Yeah, like I think sometimes when people write the reviews or descriptions of these videos, it's like they turn it on for like 5 minutes.
Right. It definitely was way more involved in that, but maybe they don't want to ruin it for you.
That is also fair.
Okay.
I would describe it as a movie about... so Marebito is a word in Japanese that refers to a blood-sucking creature or something like that, if I remember right. And so it's about this dude who basically, discovers one, but there's a lot of other things going on. It's a very strange movie.
It is strange.
That involves sort of very odd, very ambiguous supernatural things, and also sort of delving into madness, right? Like,
I agree.
Is he going crazy?
I think he is.
I think quite possibly. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you haven't watched yet, pause the episode, go watch it if you want to. We're about to spoil the whole thing. So, all right, let's get into it. So we start the movie. At first, I thought it was found footage, which I guess they use a little element of because he's always holding the camera.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh no, is this whole thing found footage? And it's not.
Thankfully, no.
He's watching some footage he had taken of a man in a subway who looks in complete terror, stabbing his own eye out to stop himself from seeing the terror.
And it's like, and there's nothing around. Like, he's just, there's a crowd around him, and he's not like looking at anything that's obviously, clear, anything that's obviously there.
Right. And then we find out pretty fast that our main character here, who has a name, I'm gonna be bad at their names.
I don't remember his name.
Masuoka.
Oh yeah, okay, Masuoka.
Right. That he wants to experience fear. We see him standing over a bridge. He leans over, but he's not scared at all. The cars are going behind him. He would die if he fell off, but he's not in fear. And he really wants to experience terror. But yeah, I mean, he keeps watching it and pauses it one time. He's watching this video and it looks like the eye is looking directly at the camera. He was watching the guy film him.
Oh yeah.
As he stabbed his eye out, which
I'm
is
not
pretty
sure
crazy.
whether that was real.
Yeah, I don't know what in this is real or not. We could definitely get into that.
That's part of what makes it fun.
Then we see him going to a shopping area to get rid of his medicine. He looks like he throws away Prozac.
Oh yes, he mentions it. Yeah.
Right, and this will keep him focused so he can see what he wants to see.
I guess that's a way of interpreting. He said something about it. This will let me regulate my serotonin levels or whatever. But I think your interpretation makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's up in the air to me. I mean, I was definitely wondering what the hell was going on in this whole movie. But he's quoted, they have, according to the subtitles, they were terrified by what they saw. They saw something because they were terrified. And so he wants to figure out what.
Yeah.
That day, he was with a TV documentary crew. They were on their way back from a shoot, and he goes to visit that site again where he's gone, and he finds like a maintenance area, and then he goes lower.
Well, and in the middle, just let me cut in
here.
Yeah,
of course.
Like, this part is maybe the most interesting part of the movie for me, and maybe the main thing I actually like about it is this early part, which isn't that important later on in the movie, but this idea, he's mentioning this idea that Tokyo has this, so Tokyo does have a huge underground, like
right.
More than most cities. It's got, like, there's a massive subterranean network of tunnels and passages between buildings and between like subways, and anyone can just walk around and get anywhere in Tokyo just about without having to go up above the ground.
Without getting lost?
Well, now that's another story because it's very complicated. network. But what's really cool is that he's trying to say, well, there have always been tunnels under Tokyo for one reason or another, and people would build new tunnels that would connect to the old ones.
Right.
And those would connect to the old. And so he's like saying, he's implying if you were to walk around long enough in the Tokyo underground, you could get to ancient places that have not been seen.
Right. So I know you haven't seen Jordan Peele's Us, but that has a lot of tunnels too. It opens with talking about how many abandoned tunnels there are in America. So I find that fascinating. But that came out way later, 15 years after this movie. But it's interesting relevance. Like they both talk about it.
That is interesting. I especially liked the idea, though, that this maze-like network. You know, I like mazes, right?
Sure.
If you knew the right ways to go in this maze of underground tunnels, you could reach older and older and more unknown places.
Yeah, he keeps going further and further down too, which is scaring me. I would be like a little terrified to go that far down.
Yeah, and they imply that he's been walking for hours.
Yeah.
He's really going.
And it's dark.
Very. Yeah.
He goes further down. He talks about the myths of all these tunnels and passages. And he finds an area that reminds him of World War II. He finds a homeless man down there. He has an inner monologue where he says, "Is this safe?" And the homeless man says out loud, "Safe? It's not safe at all because of the Duros."
The Duros, yeah. And that is apparently borrowed from, according to the narration in the movie, and I think this might be real, it is borrowed from supposedly an old sci-fi from like the 1920s or something like that, where Dero stands for detrimental robots.
Right. And then he says, if they find you, they'll suck you dry.
Yeah.
But yeah, he goes on to that. He ends up running to a man with a lantern who happens to be Mr. Kuriki.
Yeah, the guy who stabbed his eye out.
Right. So he's talking like he's alive. Mm-hmm. He refers to him as a talkative ghost. They go on to different theories. They talk about the hollow earth theory. He says there's two versions of this theory. One, that the earth is a hollow like an eggshell, or two, that there's a complex subterranean system.
Yeah.
They discuss tunnels all over the world. And he asks him about the Duros. And that's where, he tells him demented robots. What did you say?
I thought it was detrimental robots.
Detrimental robots. Okay, yeah. And he's asking if these are the same creatures that are described by Richard Schaefer in the book.
Yeah, that's the reference I was talking about. But I thought I remember reading that was a real book, but I'd have to double check.
It probably is, yeah. And he's like, wait, I haven't learned anything yet. I want to know what was terrifying you when you died. And he's like, so you're saying I'm dead? I think when he points out the fact that he's dead and he shouldn't be there, he's like, oh, well, then he blows out the candle and disappears. He's like, well, if I shouldn't be here. Which didn't answer the question, but they're like, no. I didn't mean it like that. Come back. Because now it's super dark.
Well, there are like lights, right?
Well, he finds his way to one, and then he's in this vast open area that looks like another world.
Right.
Because I think I see the sky.
Yeah.
Or it's just such a massive cavern that you can't see the top, but it's lit up really well.
Somehow it's lit by something, yeah. And that's not, it's mysterious. This is also part of what was so fascinating to me, is this idea, in most sci-fi or fantasy stuff, when you go to another world, there's some sort of a portal or a gateway, right, that you go through.
Yeah, he just walked through a tunnel, yeah.
But I love this idea of you just explore these tunnels that are totally in the normal real world, but just as you follow this maze around, somehow gradually you're transitioning into this other world. There's no clear gateway.
Yeah, I do like stories that explore this concept. And I do have a fear, I know, about if I ever found myself in this kind of system, that I would never find my way back. And in fact, when he gets to this area, I wrote a note. At this point, I'm thinking he will never make it out of here.
I didn't think of that. That's a good point.
I thought the whole movie's taking place. They showed us the Mountains of Madness, like a title card. I was like, oh, the rest of the movie's going to be here, because there's no way he's ever getting back.
It's a good point. How did he find his way back? He'd have to have perfect memory.
Perfect memory, right. So he explores a little bit. He finds a naked woman. She's chained up. He moves her hair to see her face, and she looks at him. And then instantly, he's back in his room with her.
Yeah, and they don't really explain the way back at all, which I kind of wish they had. But I also understand why they skipped it, because it probably wasn't directly relevant to the narrative they're trying to tell.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder, how do you get a naked woman from the subway system up through the mall to your apartment without everybody being like, hey?
And maybe that was the first part of the evidence that this isn't real, right?
Could be. Yeah.
Because how would he have done that if it was real, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's another thing that's like, well, I mean, it could even be symbolic, right? They're the mountains of madness that he discovered, right? Is that just,
Yeah.
are they just saying he just went crazy? Is that what that is? It's a metaphor just saying
could
he's
be.
just lost his mind?
He could be. Yeah, I'm not sure. So we get to his room, and he's got this massive system of monitors to watch all his footage. I don't know if he had like 16 monitors or something.
Yeah, it's awesome.
It was, yeah, I mean, I can't lie. I would love to have a lot of monitors like that. think I have 3. He tells us about who he is. We get a little bit of his backstory. He was having an interview for the job as a cameraman, and that's where we learn his name.
Not that it's important.
Yeah, Masuoka.
Yeah.
And he's a cameraman. And then we see footage of him buying the camera that he uses. But back as well, I think we see a woman selling him the camera.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Okay. I mean, it's a small little clip.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's relevant.
I don't know either.
But it was definitely there. It looked kind of found footagey. So he brought the woman back to his place.
Oh, before we go, sorry.
Yeah, sure.
We glossed over something a little bit.
Okay.
The way he found his way down to that alternate reality of the Mountains of Madness and everything.
Yeah.
The way he found his way was that he was hearing like a voice or a noise of a woman or something the whole way down there.
Yeah.
And it was way too far for him to have really been hearing, her, the woman that he found chained up.
Yeah, she would have had to be moving the whole time.
Right, which she was chained up. So
right. She wasn't at all. Yeah, I wonder how this woman would have gotten substance if she was there for any period of time.
Yeah, it didn't make. Did he? I don't remember. Did they show him free her?
No, you just see him like move the hair out of her face to see her face, and then I swear it just cut to him at her apartment.
What did he do about the chain? He didn't have any tools on him.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I think he kept it somehow. I think he freed it from the rock instead of her, because later we see that he has her chained in his apartment.
I thought that was his own chain.
Maybe he bought his own chain. I don't know.
Because I thought maybe they didn't. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, either one works. I mean,
it's pretty interesting. I think it's an interesting theory that none of that was real, and that whole sequence was just him going crazy.
And so the rest of this, none of it really happened.
Well, or it was something else that was not what we think we're seeing, or who knows, right?
Right. So he, I think, tries to give her some milk. She won't drink it. She won't eat anything he wants to give her. Her teeth are very yellow. I remember writing that. And then he decides to just tentatively call her F.
Well, they're not just yellow, right? Like she has like animal teeth. She has huge fangs.
Right. But he names her F because he has nothing else to call her.
Which turns out to be important later.
Yeah, it's just weird, right? He doesn't know how old she is, but she's obviously, this is the first time she's seen another human. But he's cleaning her once a day, but she won't eat or drink anything that he gives her.
And at that point, I was thinking, he's going to have sex with her or something.
That's what I thought, too.
I think they faked us out with that, because that never happened.
Yeah, there's a scene coming up where I really thought it was going to happen when he cut his finger.
Yeah.
I thought, he's going to cut other parts of his body.
Yeah, yep.
I thought that was going to happen.
They want you to think, but it didn't.
Right. Then we cut to him at work. He's working with a reporter, Atsuko Uno, and she wants to show us the latest fashions. And they're trying to find young couples that have fashions. And the guy who's supposed to find couples does a really poor job. And she's like, these people aren't in love at all. Look what they're wearing. This is horrible. It just shows him at work. It was weird.
I thought it was, I'm not sure if I misread that scene, but I thought that they were trying to portray, they were just kind of faking the whole story. People weren't really in love. They were just portraying it that way just to make a good story.
Okay,
and that the dude was just kind of like, just show him whatever, who cares,
Yeah.
And I thought that might have been important. Like I'm wrong about this stuff a lot.
Sure, no, I see what you're saying. It's symbolism for the whole thing.
Yeah, like maybe what they're saying is, like media or whatever makes people think things are true that aren't. It feeds us illusions, and maybe that ties into the fact that the whole story is an illusion, right?
Yeah, no, I like that. That makes sense. I mean, it makes me feel better about it if there was an actual point other than showing that he's at work.
Yeah.
While he's at work, though, he's on his phone, and he has cameras on his phone that let him see F while she's at home. That's what the saleswoman was selling him, not the camera. The phone with the cameras.
Okay.
The phone that let him watch his camera at home.
I totally missed that.
That's right. I missed it.
I didn't even get it.
Right, but that's what he's doing. He's like, so while he's at work, he's able to still watch her on his phone when he should be working.
Yeah.
There's footage of him trying to teach her how to say his name. He thinks that maybe she can't speak anymore because of the world she came from.
Masuoka.
Yeah. He takes her out to buy her clothes. Or no. He goes out to buy her clothes. Yeah, that makes more sense. And while he's doing it, he's watching on the phone. And some guy stands up behind him, like looking over his shoulder at what he's looking at. Some really tall, dark figure. And it scares him.
Yeah.
And kind of runs off.
I remember that.
Yeah. Back at home, his door's unlocked. He's trying to see if he was followed, and we think we see the dark figure at the bottom of the stairs.
Right. Yeah. Okay. He's being, although it might be a different dark figure. I think I think the dark figure he sees, he doesn't even see them at the bottom of the stairs, right? He senses them.
Okay.
I think when he's at home, because they're not in his line of sight. At any point, he goes and peers around, and the way that the shot is done, you can tell that he never is able to see them, but they run away.
Okay.
It's a really cool shot, actually. And I thought that might be the woman that we see later that starts bugging him later on.
Sure. Yeah. And that's important.
Yeah. Whereas the dark guy looking over his shoulder, that's the guy, I think, who later he's talking to on the phone, right?
Right.
He's warning him.
Right. When we get back inside the apartment, F is laying on the floor and she's crying. She looks scared. He thinks she's dehydrated and he again tries to give her milk, but instead of swallowing it, she chokes on it and coughs it out and appears to have a seizure.
Yeah, okay.
He rushes to pull up the footage to see if he can get a clue, and the footage goes black for 12 seconds, and he doesn't know what happened during that 12 seconds.
Yeah.
While I was gone. This is where the phone rings, and he's like, "Who are you?" And the guy says, "Who I am is irrelevant to the problem that you have." And the killer tells him that he doesn't understand what the problem he has. When he tries to like caller ID it or look up the number, it tells him it's a public payphone.
Yeah.
That he calls from.
Is that the one? Does the guy mention in that phone call that she doesn't belong in this world?
It might have. I didn't take that note, but I do remember that happening.
That may have been the next phone call.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine either way. Out on the street, he's just filming people. People's faces seem blurred and they're like static. Some guy comes out.
Oh yeah, that was weird. The faces being static, but then when he looks at them through the viewfinder of the camera, they're clear. And that was they said that several times in the movie. Something about earlier in the movie when he was going down in the tunnels. He kept looking through his camera too, and he kept saying something about the view from the camera is more realistic than that's why he was looking through the camera. He said the view through the camera is more realistic.
Right. And
that goes with his camera obsession that he has through the whole movie. And so that's like if their faces are all blurred and he's looking through the camera, it's like showing how it's more realistic. Although I don't know what that symbolizes, except that maybe he's totally taken in by this world of illusions from cameras and TVs that isn't real, and that's become his new reality.
Yeah, he's not right in the head.
Yeah.
So some guy comes up. He's mad that he was being recorded. He beats him up, breaks the camera, and takes the tape, like in an alleyway.
Did they take the tape?
He pulls the tape out.
Oh, yeah.
Just of those faces.
Right now I remember.
And the camera's destroyed. Walking home, he sees a woman starting to follow him. I guess we get more clear visual of this woman. He runs in the building. She's following him. He closes the elevator just in time so she can't get in there with him.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's the woman.
Mm-hmm. In the back of the room, he's speaking to F. She seems to be drawn to his cut finger from his broken camera, and then she very passionately starts licking the blood off of his finger and sucking on his hand. And he tells his voiceover is like, "I liked it. I wanted to keep feeding her until she's totally satisfied."
Which sounds very sexual.
Oh, very sexual. That's why I'm like, I really thought he was going to figure out a way to feed her while having sex with her.
But I think it's more like they decided to go the higher brow route and make it a representation of sex instead of like the literal thing.
Sure. But he says he knows if he let her have all of his blood, it would kill him, but he doesn't seem to care if he dies. But it makes him worry that if he were to die just to satisfy her, who would feed her the next time?
Right.
He considers bringing her animals, but I think he says at one point that she didn't like it that much.
Right. Yeah. He was bringing her animals, but and she could live off of them, but he said nothing satisfies her like human blood.
Right. He makes a comment about treating her like a pet, even though later she starts to act more human.
Yeah.
And he thinks maybe she's only imitating him.
Right.
To learn how to be human because he doesn't think she's human. Outside, he's filming again. I'm like, did he get a new camera? Or is this just his work camera? I don't know. And the lady shows up to ask if he hurt himself. The woman has claims that he has her daughter who is missing and that she is reported to the police. And he claims that he doesn't have a daughter.
I think she also calls him Anata when she speaks to him, which is an intimate version of the word you that suggests that they are partners. Right.
That they're a couple and they have a daughter together.
Right. Yeah.
But he knows he has a woman in the apartment, but that woman in the apartment is not his daughter. According to his brain.
According to his brain, it isn't. But we don't know which of them is right.
Yeah. Well, he seems crazy.
Yeah,
I mean,
he calls her crazy.
That's right. Yeah. At first, I thought she was a crazy person.
Right.
And later, I was like, maybe she wasn't.
Maybe
crazy.
maybe he's the crazy one.
Right.
I love the ambiguity.
Yeah.
It's not clear. You don't know.
He gets back home. The lock is broken. The place is trashed. And he looks everywhere. He can't find her. He runs around outside looking to see if she went away on her own. She couldn't have gotten that far, but if someone took it away, he's probably not going to find her. A mysterious man comes up and says, "You have failed, didn't you?" And then our main character passes out. And the mysterious man has little hope that our main character would be able to tame her.
Right.
Then he gets back home later, and F is back lying there asleep. He wonders if she ate someone while she was away.
Oh, the window was open or something.
And now she's chained up like the way he originally found her.
Yeah.
So it could have been his own chain. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not. Nothing is ever clear in this movie.
Right. And then we get the woman again following him. She says, "Don't walk away from me. You have to listen to me. You owe me an explanation. I know my Fuyumi's with you."
Oh, Fuyumi. Yeah, that's saying, implying that the daughter's name is Fuyumi.
Right. When the F was just short for Fuyumi.
Exactly. That's
right.
That's the idea that they're trying to put in your head. Because otherwise, why does he call her F? Right? Because it doesn't. I mean, because F doesn't really stand for anything else. It doesn't make any sense in any other context. Why else would he call her F?
Right, yeah. This is when I start to think, wait, she not crazy? He pulls close to her and he stabs her. Then he positions her in a way to collect her blood. Why is he filming it?
Oh, that's right. The woman, the mother.
The mother, yeah. But
Yeah.
he I don't think it's very intelligent that he's filming like the draining of the blood and stuff.
He films everything he's done.
I know, but he's an idiot because that's evidence.
Yeah.
That's one thing I didn't get. He stores it in the fridge and he starts feeding it to F. I think he even puts some in baby bottles.
Oh, right.
To
Yeah,
feed him
he
in
does.
baby bottles.
Yeah.
And then we see him filming a schoolgirl who thinks he's a pervert but is willing to take money to be filmed or touched.
I think that's a common thing maybe in Japan. I think I may have heard of that before.
I mean, I think prostitution exists.
Well, just specifically, I think schoolgirls can get a lot of money by going just over the line.
Oh, okay. And then she's ready for an interview. She talks about the time she lost her virginity. Then the stabbing is off camera when we see her bleed out. While he's talking about how beautiful fear is, but fear of death is mediocre.
Yeah, and I don't know what that implies. What is the fear that he's looking for that's not fear of death?
I don't know, but then, we have the footage of the people being drained of blood, right? But up to this point, his face isn't there, his voice is there, but then he makes sure to really make sure that evidence is there by turning the camera to look at his face while he's draining the blood so that the camera has all the evidence it possibly needs in case the police were like, well, maybe it's not him. Oh, no. It's him. He's an idiot.
Yeah, but I am interested in that question of what is it that he is... What is this mysterious fear that he's looking for? I tried to figure that out the whole movie. I can't understand what the fear is that he's looking for, what they're trying to say. And that confusion gets even worse at the very end of the movie, where I really don't know what they're saying. Right.
No, I'm completely with you. He mentions while he's looking at himself in the camera that he doesn't recognize himself.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to him feeding her. He decides to call the number on the public payphone. And when the guy answers, he says, "You should have no complaints now." And the guy confirms that, yes, no complaints. You're right.
Because now he's taken care of her properly.
Right.
I feel like the guy almost represents his worst inner self or something, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. He's back on his filming job. He's at the murder scene of the schoolgirl he killed. He tries to get closer, but the cops stop him like, "Hey, idiot, you can't go past this line."
Yeah.
And while the crew are down there, he zooms in to get a shot of the dead girl's hand. It's like
sticking
falling
out between the railings. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we catch the ghost of the dead girl staring back at him.
Oh, like as a separate person standing there. Yeah.
Right. Which I was like, wait, is that where the movie's going? But I guess it did have ghosts.
It did. It already had ghosts.
It confused me at this point that I was like, wait, what are we going with? But you're right. It already had ghosts, so we shouldn't be shocked to see that. No. There's another ghost there.
No, the only thing we should be shocked by is that she's up in the overworld instead of down in the underworld where the other guy was. They had early when they had
sure
the Kuroki, which by the way I think means black spirit in Japanese, but when they saw him, they mentioned, well, you're here in the underworld. They called it the underworld,
right?
And so it's like that kind of made sense, but this makes less sense because now they're not in the underworld, but whatever. Who knows?
Right. He reflects on the human race and older generations, saying that the older generations would see other creatures from other dimensions all the time.
Okay. And he said he thinks that human beings are a fallen species, that in the past people were more perceptive and now they're less perceptive. And I thought that might be an important statement in the sort of context of like this idea of the movie being about illusion, and this idea that if we're all fed illusion by the media, that it makes us crazy or dumb or something like that, right? It kind of feeds into that if he's saying we used to be more perceptive and used to be able to see things. On the other hand, it could be the other way around, because the things that he's seeing maybe aren't real.
Sure.
So maybe people used to be less perceptive, and maybe his view of things is upside down.
But if he thinks the news is bad, why does he work for the news? Because he gets into places he wouldn't normally get to?
Well, I don't think he thinks news is bad. I'm saying maybe the author of the film thinks that the news
that makes more sense.
Bad.
That makes more sense. Okay, I get what you're saying. He goes back to the apartment and he uncuffs her from whatever she's chained to, but she's too weak to stand up. He takes her out in public. She's distracted by all the colorful clothes, but she is having trouble walking. It looks like a couple of people are curious to why this woman's having trouble walking.
Yeah, she doesn't know how to walk.
Yeah, and we have a scene where he gets himself ice cream and she's drinking blood out of a bottle.
Oh, yeah.
But in public. And then he leads her to a nearby subway. He cuts his wrist open. He lets her feed. He says she never has enough. He bandages himself as she falls asleep, and then he leaves her. He takes a train without her.
I did not notice that he abandoned her, and I didn't quite understand what they were talking about after that. That makes a lot more sense. Why didn't he take her back down to the underworld?
I don't know. He was like, I can't ever satisfy her. It's like after spending all this time thinking, I'll do whatever I can to make sure she survives. It was a total turn that he put her in some waiting room in a subway kind of area, fed her, let her fall asleep, and then went away. And we see him going on a train. He gets on the train without her, goes all the way to the beach, and he just wants to spend some time at the beach.
Yeah.
And then when he's out there, his vision turns more and more glitchy. Kind of reminded me of the Matrix. Like things are just glitching out. And then we get our ghost from the beginning. What's that?
He doesn't have his video camera with him, so he can't see his reality anymore.
He can't see. Yeah. And then Mr. Kuroki, the guy that stabbed his eye out, the ghost from the beginning, comes back. And they have a lot of dialogue that is all weird and trippy.
Yeah.
He says like that his kindness comes from the depths of the ocean.
Oh, I think they're talking about human beings evolving from life that started in the oceans. I think that's what they were referencing.
All right. Okay. He talks about older generations being wiser than them. And he asked him, what did you see when you poked your eye out in the subway tunnel? Because he's longed to see the terror that he saw that day. And it was something unknown, and terror is our ancient wisdom, which our subconscious uses to warn us. And we get more glitches in his vision.
So they never really answer the question.
They never answer the question. And then we see him sleeping in the streets like a homeless man. He's pretending to go mad. So if he does go mad, he can see the terror. I think he's convinced that's the next step to find the terror, is to become homeless and live on the street.
I don't know.
I mean, he's camping on the street and he talks about it.
Huh.
But then it doesn't take long for him to go back to his apartment, I think.
I remember he says something about, like he decides, I don't remember. I remember there's a moment here. So I don't know if you have more.
There's a lot. I mean, I got a lot more.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. He speaks about killing his wife and treating his daughter like an animal.
Yeah, which is almost like a reveal.
Right. Oh, the woman was his wife.
Yeah, and it really was, except it's like he has a lucid moment or something, except that then it goes back to the usual right after that, right?
Right. And then none of it was enough for him to go crazy. But I disagree. I think he's crazy.
Yeah.
He walks while pondering all this, and finally he gets to see a Duro, and there's actually two Duros.
Yeah.
He sees. He starts chasing after them. They seem to get away, but they led him to a ringing cell phone. He hears animal sounds from it. The creature still exists in his apartment is a thought that goes through his mind.
Oh, he thinks it's her calling him from his apartment.
Right. Well, he drops the phone, which shows a picture of him in fear.
Yes. I don't know what that means.
Me either. It's all weird at this point. Outside the apartment building, he looks up at his apartment. He slowly travels to his floor. The ghost from the girl that he killed earlier is behind him in the elevator. She's not there when he gets to his floor. There's a lot of mail stuffed into his door, his slot, like he hadn't been there in a while.
Right.
He pulls out a blade. Inside F is there on the ground sleeping. He thinks she's hibernating. And then she speaks finally. She says, "You came back to me."
Yeah.
Which is weird. She never spoke the whole time.
Right.
He rushes to pick her up. Then he uses the blood to cut his mouth and then passionately feed her while making out with her.
Uses the blade to cut his mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. What did I say?
You said uses the blood to cut his mouth, which would only work if he froze it in the freezer.
Right. He uses the blade to cut his mouth, and then he makes out with her, which is the closest we get to the sex we thought was going to happen.
Right. Although again, I kind of feel like the feeding was a metaphor or some sort of symbolic version of sex anyway. The way they played it, like it was so sensual and all that.
And then it gets more staticky and fades to complete static. Then we see as she leads him back down to her world, they have the camera with him. He never speaks anymore and has no use for words, but maybe it's because he fucked up his tongue by
Oh,
cutting
right,
it.
sure.
And she films him as he's now in terror. It's what he always wanted.
It is, but it doesn't make sense. I didn't like that final scene, and I didn't think it worked. So that final scene, they show, like, because she's just holding the camera and pointing it at him and smiling, and his face, he's just staring into the camera and getting a more and more horrified expression. And it didn't make sense to me because it just looked like a game, right? It looked like
Sure.
he was pretending. And
Yeah.
I don't know how they intended that to look and feel, but I just didn't think that scene worked. It looked silly to me, like they were playing, and I don't think that's how it was intended, but it just didn't work because there was nothing for him to be scared of staring into the camera.
Right.
Unless they're trying to say that he's afraid of finally realizing that the eye of the camera is on him, and that's what's terrifying to him. I don't know, but her smiling just kind of it didn't work. I didn't understand it. I didn't like that. That final scene didn't feel right.
Yeah, I was left thinking, what the fuck at the end of it. I mean, it was interesting. I wouldn't say I disliked it, but it was definitely weird.
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched it, but I don't know that I'll watch it again.
I kind of felt that way when I first watched it.
Yeah.
So I'm rewatching all these movies for this podcast, like, is interesting because it's, it's never the same experience the first time and the second time you watch a movie, right?
Right.
And what I found was that rewatching Cube, I liked it more. I mean, I liked it less the second time, actually.
Because you know all the answers already?
No, we'll talk about that in that video
okay.
or that podcast. But
yeah, sure.
But I found that for this movie, I liked it more because the first time I saw it, my reaction was basically the same thing you just said. But the second time through, I think I appreciated more the vibe and the mystery of it all, and sort of kind of all the little metaphors and interesting ideas in it. And I don't know, I liked it more the second time. It's a movie that you spend the first time just trying to understand it.
Yeah.
And then the second time through, you kind of already know what to expect. So it's more like you're more free to just appreciate it.
I get you.
And I don't think the ending worked, but I think a lot of it did. It had a lot of cool, like I said, the idea of that subterranean, just gradual maze-like path
I
to an
like the
alternate
world.
It was such a cool idea. And then also the thing about him kind of gradually going crazy. It was compelling. It was kind of exciting, interesting, made you think. I think it was a good movie. I think it was well done and creative, but dang, it's very weird.
So if you could, let's say that the company approached you and was like, hey, we know you're great at making movies because you're, in some fictional world where you are great at making movies. I don't know, maybe you are. And you were in charge of making like a different movie set in the same world. Ooh. What would you like to do with it?
Oh, that's a very interesting question. Yeah, what would I do with it? I mean, my first instinct is to focus on the parts that are the most interesting to me, right? Right. So to more explore that subterranean world. Where else does it go?
Right.
Does it only go there? Does it go other places?
Right. The book that it reminds me of is now I'm not going to remember the title. There's a Stephen King short story where it's like the Gentleman's Club or something, but it's like this place where they go and smoke cigars and read books. And this one guy is given access to this library, but in this library are these long series of doors, and they are portals to other worlds, and they tell them be really careful because we have lost people forever in there.
Oh, interesting.
And he could go in forever, and I always love to think what is there?
Right.
And that's kind of like very similar to the Dark Tower. The Dark Tower itself has a lot of doors to get you anywhere in the multiverse that you want to go in any time, which could be dangerous. To me, there's something a little more appealing about, instead of just a series of doors, something a little less literal. That's just, it's a maze. You don't know how many doors there are or whether there are any. Yeah, I mean, I could see doing other creature feature kind of thing, like people exploring and getting some kind of other paranormal activity or some kind of crazy creature, or winding up in some other world that's, if you want to go with the same vibe as the original movie, some other world that's kind of a metaphor for some other thing. Maybe we could spend way more time there. I know that from Hellraiser to Hellraiser 2, what I liked better about Hellraiser 2 was that we actually spent time in hell. Like, we got to see the world of the Knights, and it was really strange. It was a big maze. It was like MC Escher everywhere. I haven't actually seen Hellraiser 2. I saw the first one. I should check it out then. That sounds neat. The second one's really good because I like that. Like, hey, give me more of this world. Explore this. Yeah. So I liked it a lot. I thought that was interesting. One other piece of trivia I have for this movie is it was filmed in 8 days. Wow. That's impressive. I know. I mean, it didn't look like a massive budget, but 8 days. It looked good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah. I mean, it was for 8 days. It looked really good. Although it kind of makes, maybe you can do it easier if so many of the shots are in one room too. But that's true. But not all. Maybe. Anything else about this movie before we end it?
Let me check and see. I had some notes, I think.
Okay.
So another thing that I thought was really interesting was that they when they're talking about the Darrows and the book they're from,
Right.
they mentioned this idea that the book was fiction when it was written and that it became real somehow.
Interesting.
They mentioned that. They said that the Darrows weren't, didn't really exist, and then later it became real. And that is really cool. That's a really cool thought, especially in the context of everything else about illusion and reality and insanity. Did it become real because people hallucinated it? Or because it really became real because illusion is reality or becomes reality? Or is it something just like the never-ending story where there's just an alternate reality, an underworld where everybody's made-up stories become true? I don't know.
Right, I like it. Not horror, but horror for kids maybe. The Jack Black 2015 Goosebumps movie is that whole concept that R.L. Stine had to stop writing because his books started becoming reality, and all the villains, the dummy, the abominable snowman, everybody that he'd ever written is jumping out of the books and trying to kill everybody. So he has them all locked and keyed away. And when people open the books, they start attacking him.
That's cool.
It's super cute. I mean, it's a fun movie. Jack Black is amazing to me.
Yeah. The only other thing is, I mentioned I like the aesthetic of the movie. Like, everything is very toned down and quiet.
Yeah.
Like, they're not loud. There's no sort of jump scare, screamy. It's all very low key. He part of what makes it scary is he says the most horrifying things in the most calm, low sort of voice, right?
Right.
And that they maintained that aesthetic through the whole movie, and then the closing credits were like they were like the way they were shown on sort of this beige. It's very classy. It looks very cool, I think, and I guess that's it.
Okay, cool. All right, well, you've been listening to Nightmare Echoes. Thank you, Jesse, for joining us for another episode.
Thank you.
All right, and then next time we're going to discuss Cube. So
yes, as we alluded to earlier.
Right. All right. See you then. Bye.
Hi, this is graphic designer Jackson. I'm first saying thank you for listening, and I want to ask you to please like and subscribe. Also, we're now on Instagram at Nightmare Echoes Pod. Finally, if you would like to email us, we are at nightmareechoespod@gmail.com. Thank you again for listening.